You are listening to Veterans Action Report on KGRA Digital Broadcasting. I'm your host, Nick, coming to you live from St. Paul, Minnesota.
And I'm Andrew Canales, coming to you live from Evergreen, Colorado.
Every day, veterans are struggling with many issues spanning from homelessness to mental health crisis, often leading to 22 veterans a day taking their own lives. There are veterans all around the U.S. leading the fight to help guide our brothers and sisters to a better life. We will bring you stories from all around the country telling tales of veteran struggles and triumph. Every episode benefits veteran-run nonprofits Warriors Next Adventure, helping veterans fight PTSD through recreational therapy and new adventures. And Houses for Warriors, helping solve the homeless crisis, leading veterans to a better lifestyle. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Veterans Action Report. This is episode 19. Still can't believe we've been around for that long. We only had 1 week where we had to run a rerun, so we're technically at 20 weeks. Still going strong. I love it. I'm having a great time still. Andrew will be back here with us here in a couple episodes. Today we have a guest in a little bit. He is not here yet. We're still waiting for him to come on. It's going to be Andrew Ferrer. Sorry, bud. I met him through Irreverent Warriors. They're another nonprofit that they do all the silky hikes around the country. They're also what's his name? Their founder is also the founder of Vet TV as well. Those guys are hilarious, super inappropriate, and I'm pretty sure everybody loves them. How's it going, everybody? So, a little update on a couple things going on in my life and a couple other things. So Warriors Next Adventure has the Memorial Hockey Tournament coming up. That's going to be on May 28th and May 29th. And that is at the Blaine Super Rink in Blaine, Minnesota. Now, they put out a post recently that has actually brought a lot of people to my attention, talking about the closures at Blaine at the Super Rink. So what they were talking about is the Blaine Super Rink is not running tournaments anymore, right? So that does not mean that my tournament isn't going anymore. That just means that their staff at the arena is not going to be hosting any more tournaments. It's just going to be people like me coming in running tournaments at their ice rink. So we are still good to go. We are still having the hockey tournament. We do still have slots open for teams. Teams are 18 plus, but if you tell me that you are not 18 plus, then, 1 second here. But yeah, I'm not going to be upset if like a 16, 17-year-old kid wants to play on a team. I don't care. We have a couple teams signed up. We're just waiting for the payments to go through, but we're supposed to have 2 4-team round robin tournaments, and then the winner plays for the cup. This thing is awesome. I haven't picked it up yet, but it's like a small Stanley Cup. It's like 2 feet tall. It's got our logo on it and everything. The logo was made by Black Belt Digital Marketing, which those guys are awesome. So this thing is supposed to be huge, and our goal is to raise as much money as possible with this hockey tournament. And if everything works out, I would say we should come out of this tournament with no less than $10,000. That's after cost and everything, which would be really nice. And then on top of that, we have a couple other things going on here and there. June 24th, we're going to be in Omaha, Nebraska for a giant concert. It's going to be a mental health awareness concert, and 100% of the proceeds go towards Warriors Next Adventure. So my ambassador down in Omaha is the one that set it up, Tommy. Tommy and Chad, my first 2 ambassadors, and Tommy is just knocking it out of the park with this. We have 2 separate venues at the same thing. One of them is going to be the Papio Pub, and that place is going to be where we're going to be doing the raffle, maybe a silent auction. We're not 100% sure. We're still nailing out all the details. And then across the street, there's actually going to be a giant concert. We should fit about 1,000 people in that venue. So our goal is about 1,400-ish people. If that works out, we'll have T-shirts, we'll have hats, all kinds of stuff to sell as well. But we'll also be doing the raffle. On top of that, as far as I know, it's a free concert. So, I mean, why not go to a free concert and, spend some money on some raffle tickets, Yeah, Papio Pub has been they've been huge supporters of Warriors Next Adventure. Tommy used to work there. So these guys, they support us as much as they can. So thank you guys. Also, go check out Houses for Warriors. Those guys are doing a lot of cool shit too over in over in Colorado, they have a home that is for veterans to get them off the streets and also put them through a program to get them, to get their life together and then eventually end up in their own place. They recently graduated somebody from their program, and he actually now has his own apartment, which is amazing. Zach was a really cool dude. What's up, Joe? And now he's got his own place, which is absolutely amazing. A little bit more going on in my life. We always have different ideas in life, of what we want to do and what we're going to do here and there. And for the longest time, I've said over and over again, I want to be the veteran Tony Robbins, right? People make fun of me for saying that. I don't care. My goal is to impact as many people as possible. And throughout, my years doing Veterans Action Report, Warriors Next Adventure podcast, being on countless other podcasts, I don't know how far my reach is, but it seems like I've hit probably about 50,000 people over the last couple of years. And so my goal is to keep pushing that out as much as possible. And I was down in South Carolina a couple weeks ago, and pretty much everybody there asked me, why do you not get paid for what you do? And I'll explain. Warriors Next Adventure is a nonprofit. We're a 501c3. There's nothing wrong with paying your CEO, paying your directors of nonprofits. There's nothing wrong with that. However, this is a passion project for me. This is something that's very close and near dear to my heart because of what I experienced, through my mental health journey after the military and after my failed suicide attempt. So I decided that I was going to do as much as I can with my second chance to help as many veterans as possible push through to that next level. So I decided I was going to do it myself, and I have to justify myself as a life coach because I don't have any fancy letters next to my name. So I'm technically a life coach. So with Warriors Next Venture, we've impacted over 30,000 people in the last 2 years, and that's a fantastic number. And finally decided, you know what, maybe it is time for me to start getting paid for what I do. I will continue to do Warriors Next Adventure. I will continue to help coach veterans for free, probably for the rest of my life. That's not going anywhere. However, I did recently start my own LLC, and I'll pop over here real quick. It's Invoke Change LLC. I decided to bring what I'm doing for the veteran community to the civilian population. So what I'm doing is it's a life coach website, and what we're doing is we're just doing simple life coaching. If you need somebody, our hours are 7 to 7 Central Time. However, if you get hooked up with me as a life coach on here, what we'll do is we'll obviously set up a schedule. If there's phone calls that need to be made after 7 to 7 or before 7, I'm not a huge fan of waking up at 7 a.m. So, any earlier than that, I highly doubt you're going to get me. So the way it'll work is, what do we do? We're going to identify what your problems are. What do you want to fix? What do you want to change? What are the obstacles in your way? You got to get the right coach in your corner. As of now, I'm the only coach on the team. I do have 2 or 3 people that we're likely going to bring on, and I don't see it. I see it blowing up pretty quickly. However, I need to justify hiring another person because I want to be able to pay them. Anybody who works for me, I want this to be their full-time job. So I need to make sure I can actually pay them a livable wage. We got to put tools in your toolbox. We are going to have you journal daily so we can track your growth, right? We're going to talk about your mindset when you wake up and your mindset when you go to bed, because if you track those things, you can see what events happened throughout the day that actually led you to feel certain ways. How did you start your day? How did you end your day? So we know like what happened in between. On top of that, accountability. Now, a life coach, a therapist, your barber, right? These people are only going to give you suggestions, right? Pills are only going to help you deal with moods and emotions. You still have to do the work, right? When I say accountability, not just from your coach, but from you yourself, you have to hold yourself accountable if you want change. Do not waste your money on a life coach, on a therapist, on anybody if you are not ready to actually put in the work. Now, I've had 2 people call already, and we've only been in service for 24 hours, but I've had 2 people call for the 15-minute free consultation. And the first thing I asked both of them, are you ready to actually do the work? Because I don't want to waste your money, and I don't want you to waste my time. Because if somebody's going to reach out to me, yeah, I mean, I'll take your $100, sure. But I want you to actually change. I want to actually do what I'm saying I'm going to do. If you come to me for help and you're not ready to do the work, I'm going to tell you no, because I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste your money. And I don't want to waste my time. if you want to change, if you want to grow, you cannot go to a therapist or a life coach and expect them to change your life. You have to change your life, right? What we're doing is we're giving you skills and we're helping you through. However, you still got to do the work. We help people manifest their futures and teach them how to follow through, and then just teach them to enjoy the journey. As of now, I'm the lead life coach. You can call anytime, schedule a free 15-minute consultation. Just click this call now button. You go to icseminars.org/life coaching. We are going to be doing seminars eventually. We have a tentative date for 22nd, 24th of July. It's going to be $500 for a 3-day seminar. We already have a bunch of people that are interested in going. So once we finally release that, we'll let everybody know. But we're utilizing my 6 principles. Everybody knows I'm writing a book, 6 Principles, Warrior's Guide to Inner Peace. And this is actually what I use to coach my veterans throughout the last few years. And it's what I live by. I made that for myself, and then eventually I started using it to help other people as well. A lot of the stuff that we're going to be teaching on is based off of it's not this, but it's based off of this, is epigenetics, a little bit of Buddhism thrown in there. Like I've told everybody, I've been studying Buddhism since 2016. I am not a Buddhist because I swear too much and I like meat, so I can never go full monk. But we're going to teach a little bit on manifestation, meditation, lessons learned from the military. We're going to talk about environment. We're going to talk about nutrition and how all of that comes into one, right? Now, when you think of holistic healing, right, you think like hippies, right? No, what it is essentially seeing what's inside of you and learning, spiritual, physical, and emotional. All of those things are linked. All those things are connected. So when one area of your life is off, your whole life is going to be off. You got to get that. You got to get that perfect, right? That triangle is so important. And so our goal is to get people on the right path. We're going to help with entrepreneurship. Considering I've started 2 LLCs just last week, I've started 6 incorporations, and I've also helped with 11 nonprofits. So when it comes to helping people get started, I know what I'm doing. Of course, as usual, afterwards, once you get started, it's up to you to do the work. So if your business fails, that's not my fault. Getting you set up, getting you started, pushing you to actually make those choices and helping you get to that point where you can create a sustainable business. You just have to make sure you actually follow through. So I'm hoping to get all of this stuff going here soon. Like I said, I already have 2 clients, which is fantastic. Thank you to both of you. We're going to bring on Tommy Hester. He's going to help with the directing of the seminars because Tommy's kind of my grammar Nazi, but he's also a guy that keeps me in line, keeps me going. All right. So we're enough about all that. Thank you. Thanks everybody. I wasn't looking at all your stuff, but a couple of people in the comments. Thanks guys. I appreciate you. The beautiful thing is, there's nothing wrong with getting paid for what you're good at. And I was just listening to a Les Brown speech the other day, which if you don't know who Les Brown is, just turn this off. Go to Google and type up Les Brown and just start listening to everything he's got. I was listening to one of his speeches yesterday, and this was already after I created my LLC. And what it ended up telling, or he ended up saying is like, listen, I needed a job. He's like, but I wanted to get paid for something that I love. And there's nothing I love more than helping people change, helping people improve. I don't really want to go to college because that's not my thing. I don't want to go to college. I don't like sitting in college. I don't want to do all the BS, right? You can get into all the political stuff about college, but I'm not going to. I don't want to go through all of that. I love doing what I do. I'm good at doing what I do. Like I've said, I've impacted 30,000 people in the last 3 years. I can do more. So I'm going to go through with that and we're going to see what happens. So hopefully, you guys give me a chance, give me a call. We'd set up a consultation and we can go from there. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on, his name. I'm just going to bring him on. Is your name Richard or Andrew? Because you're Andrew everywhere. I've known you as Andrew. I've called you Andrew for 2 years.
It's both. I'm Richard Andrew. My dad was Richard. My granddaddy was Richard. So Andrew is my real name. Stephen is my confirmation name. And Farr is my last name. So I've got 4 names, but call me Andrew. Call me whatever you want, Nick. And thank you so much for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. I'm just glad I wasn't wrong. I've been calling you Andrew for 2 years. So
no, dude, you're good. You're good. People are like, they're confused because I'm wearing these name tags. And one's got Andrew Farr, chaplain, VFW, and the other one's got Richard Farr, certified national recruiter. So I'm both.
Yeah. So, you had a funeral that you had to go to. That's why you're not at home, correct?
Yeah, one of our comrades in the VFW, he passed away on Saturday, and the funeral was today, 3.5 hours away from where I live. So I've been up since probably 5:30 in the morning. We had to go, he had a really great funeral, 21 gun salute, flag folding. It was a beautiful thing to see for a fellow comrade, a Vietnam vet, and a Freemason as well.
Okay, gotcha. So me and you our paths have continuously just crossed paths left and right the last couple of years. So
All the time, man. All the time.
right. So I learned of you. I think somebody added me to one of the Irreverent Warrior groups, and I don't remember how we got connected. I'm starting to lose contact with how I've got to know people.
Me too.
We all just kind of intertwine. So tell us a little bit about your involvement with Irreverent Warriors.
Irreverent Warriors is no, actually, it's funny. I was with them for 3 years. I actually took my leave of them this past June to concentrate on being the chaplain for the whole state of Tennessee. But when I was with them, and Cindy and Nate are amazing people. They're the guys that are head of Irreverent Warriors, founded by Donnie O'Malley, Vet TV. Thanks, Donnie, if you're listening to this. We bring veterans together using humor and camaraderie to improve mental health and prevent veteran suicide. Now, when I was there, I put on the Nashville hike in 2019. Then I was a district commander for Tennessee. Then I was a regional commander for Tennessee and Alabama. We've got 5 hikes in Tennessee, and I can't even tell you. They have like 125 plus cities all over the country: Guam, Puerto Rico, Alaska, Normandy, France, London, England. They have grown exponentially. They have done an amazing job.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing too, because they don't just do the silky hikes, right? Because I know the majority of what they're doing.
No, that's their niche.
Okay.
Is the silky hikes. Now when they do a hike, obviously, you want to go to the next hike, but they have events in between the hikes to keep the camaraderie up, to keep people interested in what they're doing. And I swear, man, they've got Go Ruck as a sponsor, Safi as a sponsor. They're talking to Black Rifle Coffee. I mean, they're doing all kinds of. Nate is a silver tongue devil, and he is awesome. He can talk to anybody. He's a fellow Marine. Staff sergeant. Well, actually, no, I can't give his rank because he's still OPSEC. But yeah, he's a great Marine, good dude. I love you, Nate. If you're watching this, I love all you guys at IW, and I'll be at all the hikes in Tennessee.
Why don't you give me a connection with Nate, because then maybe we can get him on here too.
Oh, don't worry. I've got a list of people to connect you with, sir.
Well, it's good too, just to spread it out. So when I first started Warriors Next Adventure podcast, my goal was to get every single, just get some leader from every organization around the country, because I think everybody needs to work together, and there's never.
I agree, totally.
Oh yeah. I've never had any pushback from Irreverent Warriors. I think I'm a part of almost all the groups. And one of the beautiful things about Irreverent Warriors that I really love is the fact that there's no lack of people reaching out for help in these groups, right? These guys feel comfortable enough to actually say, hey, I need help, right? And so, I'm a crisis intervention specialist. We have a 24/7 suicide hotline with Warriors Next Adventure. I run it myself. We just hit 98 calls the other day. So 98 calls, 98 people still alive. So we're doing something right. So every time I see any posts like that on Irreverent Warriors, I'm always one of the first guys to reach out. I keep telling people in the Irreverent Warrior community, if you see something like that, contact me. Get them hold of me so I can reach out.
Well, we need to get you on the IW recovery group, which is people that are actually in recovery and trying to go to these hikes, but they have a problem. They don't have a problem. Sorry, wrong term. They have an issue with the drinking. I'm a recovering alcoholic, so I did this for 3 years while not drinking. And yes, there is some drinking that happens at some of these hikes. Not a big thing, but for someone that's recovering, they don't want to be next to people making fools of themselves like we did back, in the service days. Because I drank for 18 years, I actually tried to commit suicide in 2009. Obviously, didn't hold. But yeah, I mean, people, and they can reach out to these fellow IW recovery specialists, and some of us are peer certified resource specialists, like myself. Some of us are counselors, LADAC, whatever. I mean, I'm an ordained minister, so I can do the chaplain thing with many people, and I've done it before. And I'm actually working with a homeless guy right now, and another guy who's very angry, and he needs to go to this group that I'm going to tell you about. It's called Save a Warrior. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Have you heard of Save a Warrior?
Guys. Yeah. We're planning on doing something fairly similar here in Minnesota with Warriors Next Adventure.
Well, I am a cohort 0141 of Save a Warrior. It saved my life, and it saved about over 2,000 plus people. And they use meditation, they use holistic, they use equine therapy, ropes course, ACA, AA, CBT, like all the big ones. They kind of just put it together, and it all makes sense. It's a 72-hour program. They've been doing it since 2012. Jake Clark is a good friend of mine. He is the founder. He is the owner, and he's been saving lives since 2012.
You said Jake Clark?
Jake Clark, yes, sir.
I'm about to get his.
He's on my friends list. If you want to go contact him. So,
yeah, that's nice. So it's I created this mental health retreat here in Minnesota in my head, right? So it's not an actual thing yet, but I have extensive details on everything that I plan on doing. And as far as I knew, there wasn't really anything like it until I started learning about a lot of these things. Like I found Mighty Oaks, which is great.
Out in California, great, yeah.
I think there's 3 of them. There's one in Virginia, one in Texas.
Okay, yeah, okay.
California. But again, nothing wrong with this. I don't want anyone to get mad at me. But they're faith-based. Everything revolves around Christianity and everything. And I'm not.
No, I know. You're not a Buddhist, but you do the Buddhist practices, which is great.
Yeah. And the thing is, when I say that, people think that I'm anti-religion. That's not the case at all. The only thing is there's a lot of veterans that are not religious, and they feel like they can't go to places like that. So my focus is going to be, it's completely all about self-repair. It's about rescuing yourself, being the one who can actually take charge and be the person to save yourself, because we never know who's going to be there for us. So we need to learn how to pull ourselves out. And so that's my focus, right? It's not anti-religion. There's no religious backgrounds in it. The only thing
let me tell you, the Save a Warrior, there is no religion. It's all about healing. And they've got one in California, and they've got one in Hillsboro, Ohio, where I went, probably about 5 hours away. They usually have like 10 people, and basically, I mean, you go through a lot of stuff, and you've got to continue the work. Like you said, you're not going to be healed overnight. You've got to do the work, just like in AA. I mean, if you go to a meeting, you're not automatically healed from being an alcoholic. I know that I'll be an alcoholic for the rest of my life, and you've got to keep on going to meetings. You got to keep on believing in your higher power, which for the agnostics, higher power. I believe in God, so my higher power is God. But some people might not believe in that. Buddha, Yahweh. That elephant in Hindu, what's his name?
I don't know.
I can't even remember. But the elephant is like the main guy in Hindu. I can't remember what his name is.
Well, with Save a Warrior, I actually just found out about them about 2 weeks ago, which is great, and I'm happy to know there's more of them. And I got into it with somebody, and they're like, "Well, stop trying to reinvent the wheel and just go with this." We're like, well, listen, okay, here's the thing. There's maybe 10 total retreats out there, 10 total, right? Between Mighty Oaks, between Save a Warrior, and there's a couple here and there. Why would you?
We're getting a couple in Tennessee, Dark Horse Lodge, 3-7 guys. That's a new one that's coming up. There's another one I think opening up in Mississippi. And then I've got a guy, Romans Warrior Foundation, who's trying to buy some land down here in Tennessee. Yeah. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but he's going to be doing something like that too.
Yeah.
Brian Romans, great guy. I definitely need to introduce you to him. He's in our VFW. Basically, well, I've switched gears.
Yeah.
IW was great, and I love IW, but I love helping people just like you. And with the VFW, I can as a chaplain, I can help out and reach a lot more people than I did before. And I'm in MDiv school. I'm trying to, I'm ordained minister, and I'm trying to actually get a degree in chaplaincy and counseling and this to help because eventually it's going to be Father Far. Probably in about 5 years. I'm gonna probably try to go into the priesthood. I don't know. I gotta wait for his call, and then I'll go.
Yeah, it's funny too because I'm actually an ordained minister too because I had somebody reach out to me and said, "Hey, can you marry me and my fiance?" I'm like, "Why me? Like, come on, man."
I know, right?
Like,
Why me?
Well, they were like, "Well, I can't think of anybody else I'd want to do it." I'm like, "All right, sure." So I went and did the whole just the American. I think it's called American Ministries Online or whatever.
American Marriage Ministries, yes.
Yeah, it's super simple. And so like I was like, all right, I'll do it. And then I did some research and I built a whole setup and it went great. And then I had somebody else reach out to me and they're like, "Hey, you're an ordained minister, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not like advertising that." Like, no. So I did it, but I didn't charge anybody because I didn't.
I'm the same way. I've done 26 weddings in 4 years, and I've got actually 4 this year to do. I don't advertise, and if it's for a veteran, free of charge, man. I just, all you got to do is get the certificate. I'll sign it. Boom. Do the service. In nominis planus. Boom. You're done.
Yeah. So if it's in another state, I'll just make them pay for my state license. That's it. It's like $40,
Yeah, it's very inexpensive. Now Virginia, now that is a tough one because you actually have to go in front of a circuit court judge to get to marry someone. Because I had a wedding in Virginia, and I couldn't do it. I had to go before a judge to do it. So they got married in a civil ceremony, but then I just did the dog and pony show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fun. I enjoy doing it.
It brings people together. And, I've been married for three and a half years now, and marriage is a wonderful establishment. And I love my wife very much, and she puts up with my crap all the time. Even though, I don't know if you've seen this, Nick, but whenever I'm gone, my wife draws stick figures of me in the house because she misses me and I'm not there. So I'm hanging from our ceiling fan, or I'm on the couch like this, like petting the dogs. I mean, it's crazy. She's getting a huge response. I love you, Katrina. Hope you watch this too, because Nick is a great guy. Hey, by the way, man, aren't you rowing across the Atlantic sometime soon?
Yeah, I got suckered into rowing a boat across the ocean in December. So December, we're flying out to Spain and we're rowing a boat from Spain to Antigua in the Caribbean. It's about 3,000-mile row.
Dude, watch your hands and take care of those blisters, okay? I know.
Yeah.
Dude, they suck. I still got them from college, okay?
Now, you said you rowed in college, right?
I rowed in boarding school and I rowed in college, yes.
So what are those really long, skinny boats called again?
They're called boats. I mean, they're
like a regular race boat or something like that. Because we
it's called a racing shell.
Okay, yeah, we raced those up in Buffalo. The Buffalo Rowing Association, which shout out to those guys. They've been training my buddy Chad, which Chad has pretty much done all the coordinating for this row. He got us an $80,000 sponsor in West Her Group. Yeah, dude, they forked over $80,000 so we could do this row, which is amazing. And so Buffalo Rowing Association has essentially been training him. And then eventually what they ended up doing was we all flew out there for like a big Veterans Day thing last year for Veterans Day. And we did a big, row and everything like that at the Buffalo Rowing Association. And they were training us how to row properly, which all 4 of us were rowing just terribly. And
I wish I could have seen that, man.
It was bad. Hillary's like the lead instructor out there.
It's probably it's probably not that bad. I mean, nobody is a perfect rower except for maybe some of the guys, because they like invented the sport. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
One of my VFW guys was calling me, but no, dude, I went to rowing camps. It takes a lot, and I did it for 4 years in high school. And we rowed 1,500-meter pieces. When you get to college, then it's 2,000-meter pieces. And like in college, you row in the morning, and then you go to school, and then you row. Then you have a workout session in the afternoon. 2 years of that, and I was tired. I was ready to join a fraternity. I was ready to party. But rowing is a great sport. The oldest race ever to be held is the Oxford Cambridge boat race, which is against Oxford and Cambridge, light blue, dark blue, and it is one of the oldest rowing regattas in the world.
Really? Yeah, this one's been going on since like 2013 or something like that. But the crazy thing is, more people have been in outer space than have rowed across the ocean, which is pretty sweet, right? And you think I think last year it was like 128 American males have made it across the ocean. And so if we do this and we complete it in 49 days or less, we'll actually break 3 world records, which is pretty sweet. So
that's awesome.
Hell yeah, I have my name on a world record list for rowing a boat across the ocean, which is nothing I ever wanted or expected to do. It's just when one of my vets reaches out to me, he's like, "Hey, I'm going to do this." I'm like, "You're nuts." He's like, "Dude, you need to do this with me." I'm like, "No." And then he kept reaching out to me, and finally he's like, my slogan for Warriors Next Adventure is explore everything, because we need to explore every option before we take the final option, And he's like, "How is your slogan going to be explore everything if you're not going to do this with me?" I was like, "God, I hate you." And I'm like, "All right, who are you taking with us?"
He got you.
Yeah, you used my own words against me, bastard.
But no, I can't wait. But the big question is, are you port or are you starboard? What side are you rowing on?
Sure.
Are you in the bow? Are you the stroke seat? Are you in the engine room?
Center.
Okay.
There's there's 2 row stations front and back. We have 3 row stations technically. We'll probably only be using the front 2 or the back 2. And there's a cab in the front, a cab in the back, and they're pressurized, so it's set to autocorrect. So if and when it rolls, it automatically goes upright.
Nice. It's better than better than those damn helo dunkers in Norfolk. I'll tell you that. Damn. Man, I hated that stuff.
In Buffalo, we did a 4. I'm pretty sure you saw one of those pictures of us, but it was just a 4. But then they also had the 8s out there too, where you're only rolling on one side. What do they call that when you're rolling?
There's a pair, there's a double, there's a 4, there's a quad, there's an 8. Then then they've got like a quad is with you got 2 oars, and a 4 is just 1 oar. And then with the 8, there's like you got the 8 varsity or whatever. What I rode, I was in the bow. I was all in the back. Like the guy in the back is the most finesse rower. So they stick the best guys in the back.
They need to put me all the way up front then, because I suck at rowing.
Well, the front guys and back guys are good. Front guys set the pace. Back guys have to see the front guy and mimic his pace to keep up, so he doesn't get launched out of the boat by. Have you heard this term yet? Catching a crab.
Yeah, I caught a few crabs when we were up in Buffalo.
It sucks. I hate them. Oh my!
Well, I had a sweatshirt on too, so my oars kept getting stuck in my sweatshirt, and I was just like trying to row. It wasn't working.
Well, the quad is supposed to be as fast as a 4 because you got 2 oars. And I've been in a quad, and those things are like rockets, man. Those things are awesome.
Yeah, no, they're cool. They're cool. Well, hey, so the main reason why I wanted to have you on here is because of your success story, right? So there a lot of things that I struggle with, not me, but a lot of my vets struggle with, and I help them try to overcome is the addiction aspect of it. So I've read a couple of your articles that were done about you, and I just wanted to have you on so you could share your story with a bunch of these guys. So like I said, we get like 11,000 or so listeners. So it's like, this is a pretty large reach, and you have a fantastic story. So I kind of wanted you to go into like the whole mental health side of everything and how you overcame all of that.
Well, I mean, it's progress, not perfection. But 3.5 years ago, I was drinking my face off, dating. I was dating my wife now. She would go to work, and I would go to the VFW. I would go wherever, and I would buy alcohol, and I would drink my face off, and I would pass out every time she'd come home. Hey, are you drinking? No, I'd lie to her. I'm like, yeah, I just brushed my teeth. That's it's from the mouthwash. And then my lies caught up with me, and I got my second DUI 3.5 years ago. I went through Veterans Treatment Court, 18-month program, 40 weeks of CBT, MRT, which is
what's CBT?
CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy.
Okay.
Basically, they break down where your problem lies, and they do it Barney style. And so that was a long time. And then they make you do journaling. They make you do a community service. You got to see a judge every single week. You've got to do a urinalysis. Whenever they call your phase, which are 5 phases, if your phase is called, you go in and you take a piss. You've got a breathalyzer on your car. Basically, you are a kept person for 18 months. And after I graduated, actually 6 months into that, that's when Cindy gave me the permission to do the Nashville hike. Took me 7 months to plan this thing. 225 hikers in Nashville in their silkies, running around like crazy people. And I was a safety vehicle guy because my guy didn't show up. So I had to be a safety vehicle driver for my own hike. And I was very upset, but it was a very successful hike. Donnie O'Malley was there at that hike. He loved it. And I gave the hike up to Zach Jenkins, who you need to talk to. So he owns Super Sliders in Nashville, a very, very popular.
Yeah, you told me about that. We were actually supposed to go to his restaurant, but we ended up going. We had to stop somewhere else instead.
Yeah, well, Zach he's now in charge of Nashville, but it's in good hands. It really is. And then from there, I went to Tennessee, and I helped start Knoxville and Chattanooga and Clarksville. And then the next time we had our little convention up down in Texas. I added another state, and so I added Montgomery and Huntsville. And now, let it be said, those hikes in Alabama did not work out. They didn't. There was a miscommunication, and they were canceled. But they still had the Tennessee hikes. But this year, there's a new coordinator in Alabama who's already got the 2 hikes. His name's Jonathan Matlock. Great dude. He used to run the IW Atlantic Beach hike, and now he's moved to Alabama, and now he's in charge of that state, which is great. He's a good Marine, 2nd LAR. I don't know if you know what LAR is, but they're cowboys. They think they're all that in a bag of chips. They're okay. LAR guys, they're okay. But Wolfpack and those other guys, yeah, whatever. Sorry, you can't beat the grunts. I'm sorry, you can't. You can't beat the machine gunners like myself. Sorry, I'm gonna get a lot of shit for that one right there.
I was Air Force, so it's all dirt to me.
Hey, dude, my father-in-law, 38 years, Air Force.
I was a machine gunner too, though, so I guess it doesn't really match. It's
Hey, that's funny, man, because our VFW, we've just adopted the 118th Air Wing. That's our military assistance program. So we do the hot cocoa things for them. We do the key volunteer stuff when they go on deployments. But we love the Air Force. And I don't know if you know this, but the commander-in-chief of the VFW is Air Force.
Is he really?
That's his pin. Yeah, he was whatever this is. I don't know what unit this is, but I wear it very proudly.
That's pretty cool. I didn't. So for the whole VFW, he was Air Force?
For 1.5 million members, which, by the way, are you a VFW member?
Not a VFW member. I'm a Legion member, but I haven't gone there in quite a while. So there's a VFW that I'm going to on Thursday, and we're actually getting ready to start doing Warriors Next Venture podcast live from the VFW.
Well, where did I'm going to do a little recruiting right here. Where did you deploy, sir?
I went to Iraq and Afghanistan.
Wow, you rate you can get into the VFW with those medals.
I know. I was just telling you. I'm starting on Thursday. Thursday, we're actually starting. We're starting our live radio show for Warriors Next Adventure podcast from the VFW.
At the VFW that you belong to.
I'm going to belong to them on Thursday.
Oh, well, good to go. Hey, there you go. See, that's awesome, man. That's
Yeah.
you know, I'm a certified national recruiter. I put in 100 people on Tuesday. Like I've done 100 people 2 years in a row. Actually, the VFW just called me like, "Hey, do you want $50 or do you want a cap with a number 2 on it?" I was like, "I want a cap with a number 2 that says certified national recruiter 12206."
I got a question for you, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is gonna separate some people, but I have had a lot of conversations with a lot of veterans, and there's an issue, right, with the VFWs, is
Okay.
because most of them are known as stinky, like smoke filled place to just get hammered.
Yep.
And a lot of those VFWs are closing down because they refuse to change for the newer veterans, because it seems like a lot of post 9/11 veterans, even like Gulf War veterans, try to go into the VFW, and it just seems
And
like
they get rejected or they get disrespected. I've heard all those. Yes, I've heard that, and that is true. But that is, the VFW is not Grandpa's bar anymore. Okay. If you look at anything that's going on in Tennessee or across the country, people are using social media. That was a thing that didn't even exist. People are in order to get the message across, we have to be on social media. And Fritz Mihalchek, who's our commander in chief, he is pushing the social media, which you have to have an email. You have to have this. You have to have this. You have to have a Facebook post. Show the world what you're doing. Because we just started. I'm one of the co-founders of the newest posts in Tennessee, actually in the VFW world. And we started with 20. We started with 26 people. We have 226 now. And we are all about community service. We're part of the Chamber of Commerce. We're part of the Rotary. We're getting out there. We're doing Buddy Poppy sales. We're actually, our average age for our post is 42.26 years old. We are mostly OIF, OEF guys, and maybe OIR Syria, whatever else is coming up next. But we want to bridge the gap between the older generation and the new, and bring it to the 21st century. And Fritz, our commander-in-chief, has done a very, very good job about that. And I'm very proud to be a VFW member. And yes, there are some bad posts, but there are some also good posts that are making a difference. And those posts right there are mostly in Tennessee.
Well, I know
I'm gonna get some crap for that too.
We have one here in Minneapolis that was completely redone, and it's essentially a nightclub now, right? So I won't go to that one. I don't like that many people. I don't like that area. Personally, I don't go to Minneapolis after the whole BLM thing. It's not the same anymore. So I don't go downtown anymore. But there's another one. The one that we're going to is up in White Bear, Minnesota. And my friend Greg, he's actually a chief. He's the chief in the Air Guard right now. He's getting out soon, and he was actually, we were talking. I'm like, it'd be really cool to do my show live from somewhere. He's like, well, why not the VFW? I'm like, the VFWs around here are not great. He's like, dude, check out the White Bear one, and it's beautiful. It's right on the lake. White Bear Lake it's a decent sized fishing lake in the Twin Cities, and the VFW dock goes right up to the lake. It's beautiful, right? So we might have a really cool backdrop. We're gonna do the Warriors Next Adventure podcast from there, and I'll likely have guests on, because I don't like to just sit and ramble. That's boring. So what I like to do is have somebody on so we can flow back and forth on, and then we'll also have an extra microphone where, like, if anybody in the crowd has something to say, they can come up and bring the crowd involved.
See, we did that same exact idea at the IW Knoxville hike. The Smoke Pit podcast, which Gabriel Brown, he runs with Jack Bouchard. And we sat down and we talked to hikers. We were just like, hey, you want to talk to us? And it actually worked out really well. And now I'm also the co-host of TSP, The Scuttlebutt, where we interview different veterans and we get their stories and we save them for the rest of the time. Now, I'm the co-host, but the main guy behind TSP, The Scuttlebutt, is my commander in the VFW, Commander Richard Pleak. He's been in the VFW 25 years. He's been an All-American post commander for three times up in Dearborn, Michigan, and the VFW and American Legion saved his life when he got off the USS Carl Vinson. He came into an American Legion, and he got hugged by 3 Vietnam vets, which was amazing. And all he does is give back, and he's our post commander, and he's stepping down this year, and I hopefully will be nominated to be post commander for next year, awesome. Which I would love. I would love to, because VFW is like my life now, and I mean, what they do with the unmet needs and the Help a Hero and the VOD scholarships and the Patriot Pen scholarships and the community service that we do. I don't know if you remember that. Well, I mean, none of us remember this, but I guess like 60 years ago, every single town, if they were doing something, the VFW was a part of it. And we need to get back to that time where the VFW is involved in every parade and everything that's going down in the town that they live in. They need to be a part of it. And they used to be like that, and we're trying to bring that back again.
Yeah, and I think there's a thought that the VFW is just a place to go sit and drink, you know.
Yeah, I've heard that many times.
And actually, so what would you say to somebody who has that mindset? Like, what does the VFW offer? I know you just named some of those scholarships. What are some of those scholarships that the VFW does?
Unmet needs, Help a Hero, the Voice of Democracy for high school kids, for Patriots Pen for middle schoolers. We give out certificates to JROTC. Community service, boom. May 7th is the VFW Day of Service, where 1.5 million people around the VFW world will be doing one day of service on that day. Everybody coming together and doing projects all around their communities on May 7th. And we're already signed up. We're doing a fish fry in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Somebody else is doing this, and they're doing a rally. They're doing this. They're pressure washing a house. They're building a house. It's crazy.
Really good idea. I could possibly have the White Bear VFW do a fundraiser for Warriors Next Adventure.
Yeah, go to vfw.org and look up the day of service, May 7th. You'll get all the information. You can actually go on that, and if you sign up for the day of service, they will put your name on a map and the post that you're with, and you'll see this map. It's just covered with little red dots of people doing things, like from Florida all the way to Alaska. It's crazy. Plus,
I just got to pull up. This is awesome.
Plus Pacific, and Europe. Europe is a VFW. That's a VFW department, and the Pacific and Latin America. Those are also departments of the VFW. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so we had American Road Warrior. I actually do. We do coffee meetings all the time. It's one of my favorite things to do. I
coffee with a veteran. We do it every month.
Yeah, it's the one thing is I try to stay away from alcohol. So Warriors Next Adventure, for the most part, is a dry nonprofit. We don't do anything with alcohol.
Good.
Sometimes we go do things and there is alcohol available. I'm not your daddy. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I don't want people getting hammered, right? Because that puts off a bad look.
Hello? I guess I'm the only one on now. Nick, where'd you go, dude?
And I'm back. Sorry about that.
Hey, Nick, he's back. I was like, I guess I'm on the show by myself now.
My camera just went out. I'm not sure what happened. I think I bumped the thing. I got a bad USB connector here, so we're going with the web.
Oh, dude, I'm in West Tennessee, and I think I get 2 bars, and I'm lucky. I mean, I'm lucky to be talking to you, because half hour ago south, wouldn't be able to. I didn't have anything whatsoever.
Well, the thing is, like I was saying is, we try to stay away from alcohol as much as possible, right? So we do a lot of coffee meetups with Galen Miller with Project Got Your Back. I had them on, I think, episode 3 or 4. They do one, I think it's every 3rd Saturday of the month at like 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I'm actually going this week. So if there's any vets in the Minnesota area, you want to come hit me up. And it's just a big networking thing. So it's Warriors Next Adventure is actually getting ready soon to do coffee meetups like once a week or something along those lines. I have my kids on the weekends, so I don't normally do anything with the nonprofit on the weekends, on Sundays at least.
Yeah.
Most Saturday mornings we're building the race car because we got 4 race cars right now. 2 of them are still in pieces right now, so we got to get that thing going. But yeah, so it's mainly about just getting people together, and I think if the VFWs focus on, most VFWs I've seen are pretty like old and run down and everything like that. They're pretty dirty, right? But there's a couple that I've seen that have slowly started to remodel. And where do they get their funding? Right? Is it mainly from?
It's fundraising. It's fundraising, donations. They will have, there are some grants that you can get from the VFW to help out with projects like that. But like for us, we don't have a building, so we can't ask for that grant because we already have to have a building in place. Right now, we are, we started June 8th, 2021 with 26 people. We are up to 226. Nice. We're doing this March Madness, which we're taking the March Madness of basketball, and we are going head to head with different posts. So whoever's got the greatest number of membership wins that next round. So like we got to buy the first week. We won the second round. We won the third round. Now we're in our fourth round right here, and we're up against posts from Colombia. But our membership has, because of this, of what the prize is, it's basically a jewel encrusted Super Bowl ring with a TriStar for Tennessee. And that's bragging rights of like who's the best in Tennessee. But it also, our state commander, Brian Walker, he was in D.C. talking about the PACT Act, that just passed through Congress. Did you hear about that?
Yep.
Well, he was talking to a lot of his fellow commanders, his fellow state commanders, and National has picked up on this idea, and they are going to try and see what they can do to try and go, department against department or, whatever, to get membership up, because there will be a little bit of a decline next year just because of people passing away and stuff like that. But we are hell-bent on recruiting and retention. And I'm one of the certified national recruiters here in Tennessee. And it's just, I go out every weekend and I talk about the VFW. I talk about its benefits. I talk about the passion, the camaraderie, the tribe that we need. Just like IW is a tribe. And when we were in the service, we were part of a tribe. When we get out, we lose that tribe. We need to have some kind of a support group, some kind of place to go where we can talk to like-minded people. And that helped out.
We actually got to get rolling here real quick. Where can somebody get signed up for their local VFW? Just Google it and go in there, or
go to you can go to vfw.org. You could go to eligibility, and you can find sign up where you are. You can find a post that's closest to you. You can join online, or you could be a member at large, or you could just walk into a post and be like, hey, can you show me the place? What's going on? And the quartermaster, adjutant, commanders are pretty receptive, and they're looking for the young people, because the VFW is 123 years old. We are the oldest VSO in the United States of America. We need to keep this tradition going for the people that went before us, so we can preserve it for the future generations.
100%. All right, man, I got to drop you off. Just don't go anywhere, and I'll talk to you in a second.
Okay, good to go.
Thanks, guys, for listening. Sorry about the whole camera thing. Go check out warriorsnextadventure.com. You can go donate there. Go donate to Houses for Warriors. Again, they're helping with homelessness over in Colorado. Again, check out. Go ahead and check out Invoke Change. It's icseminars.org. And thanks for listening, guys.
Perfect.